Hi and welcome to the Yoga Without series, and this class is a yoga without forward bends, so we won't be doing any standing, seated or any other type of forward bend, so we will try and reduce any of the hinging at the hips like I'm doing right now. And we'll be starting in a standing position. You'll also need a couple of props for this class. And you can either use, if you've got some yoga bricks just like this, or you can use a couple of pillows from your bed. They also work perfectly fine. Or if you've got a yoga bolster like this one here, you can use one of those as well. I'll be showing you how to use the blocks and also the pillows, and you'll just need them at the end of class. You can just put them to one side for now. So when you're ready, we'll come to a standing position. Feet can be about hip distance apart and arms just down by the side. Just let the arms and the shoulders relax down. So notice if you bring in the shoulders up towards the ears, and just see if you can just let it relax down. And on the next inhale, we'll reach the arms up overhead. See if you can bring the palms together in prayer above the head. And on the exhale, start to draw the hands down in front of the chest. And we'll do that 3 more times, just moving with our breath. So on the inhale, arms out nice and wide, up overhead. Keep them shoulder distance apart if you like, or you can bring the palms together. And then bring in the palms down on the exhale in front of the chest. Great, 2 more times. Inhale, reaching the arms up, maybe sending the gaze up if it feels okay for the neck. On the exhale, just bring the hands down in front of the chest. 1 more time, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, palms together and just draw them down in front of the chest. Great. Now we can bring the arms down by the side, and we'll just take a bit of a stretch for the neck. So bring the chin towards the chest, and then rolling the right ear over the right shoulder, back to center. Left ear, left shoulder, back to center. We'll do that 1 more time. So right ear, right shoulder, center, left ear, left shoulder, center, and then just bring the head back up. Now bring your hands to your waist. We'll just take some big hip circles, just taking the hips in one direction. You can make these circles as big or as little as you like. Get some movement in the hip joints, and then switch direction, and then just come back to center. Now we'll do a little bit more just to warm up the shoulder blades. So we'll bring the arms up overhead, palms can face forward, and then we'll start to draw big circles with the hands. Bring the arms forward and round. If you do feel any pain, you might want to try and make those circles maybe a little bit smaller. That's just, the aim is to just get some heat generated in these shoulder joints. And these dynamic movements really help with that. And then switch directions. Sending the arms back. Again, making those circles as big as feels good for you. Maybe even change in between large circles and little circles. And then bring the arms up overhead. Now this time bring the left hand forward, the right hand back. Bit of a challenge for the mind. And then switching direction. Great, and then bring the arms down by the side, maybe shake it out a little bit. Again, notice if the shoulders are drawing up towards the ears and just see if you can pull them down. Perfect. So we'll just do a couple more for the shoulders. So this time we'll bring the left arm across the body and just bring the right arm so it's on the top of the outer arm. Notice again if your shoulders pulling up, and just see if you can slowly pull that back down, nice and gently, holding it here. And then release, we'll take it to the opposite side. Again, notice if that shoulder's coming up and just see if you can gently just pull it down. Obviously, if you feel any pain, then just come out of the pose. Just want to listen to your body. And then release again, shake it out a little bit. Great. So a little bit for the feet this time. So from here, just send your left foot back behind onto the ball of the foot and start to just take a couple of circles in one direction. Maybe just rocking back and forth. A little bit of a calf stretch. Great. And then swapping to the opposite sides onto the ball of the foot. Maybe taking a couple of circles on the ball of the foot. Maybe just rocking back and forth. Just getting a bit of a stretch in the calf and also the ankle as well. Right, and then bringing the feet back. So now we'll take a hamstring, or quad stretch, sorry. So depending on what your balance is like, you might want to use a wall or a chair to support you. But we'll start with the left leg. So start to engage the muscles in the right leg, really pull up from the kneecap so you can feel that quad muscle engage. And then bring the left leg forward in front of you, just like this, bent. And then taking the left hand, send your left leg behind and see if you can just take the ankle. If this isn't accessible for you, you can always use a towel or something just to grip onto the ankle as well. Or you can just stay here, and we just want to start to try and push the hips forward, trying to keep these hips in line. So you start to get a little bit of a stretch through the front of the leg. Just holding it here for 2 more rounds of breath. And then slowly releasing the leg, maybe shaking them out a little bit. And we'll take that on the opposite side. So again, start to engage the muscles in the left leg, really pulling up from the kneecap so you can feel that quad engage. And bring the right leg out in front of you. Just bending it about 45 degrees, 90 degrees, 45 degrees. Obviously still waking up this morning. And then start to send that leg behind you and just take the hands if you can take the ankle or the foot. And then start to push forward through the hips, keeping those hips in line. You may start to feel the stretch through the quad. Again, if you can't reach your ankle, you can use a belt or even a rolled up towel. And we'll hold it here for 2 more rounds of breath. And then releasing the leg, shaking it out a little bit. And we'll do a little bit of a standing sequence now. So just come to the front of the mat if you've got a mat, and let's just make sure you've got enough room behind you. And we'll start with our feet about hip distance apart. We'll just lift all 10 toes off the ground, feel the arches lift so we know the weight is pushing through the 4 corners of the foot. And then place those 10 toes back down. And we'll start with the left leg, so stepping back with the left leg, and we'll come onto the ball of the foot, keeping the hips squared towards the front of the mat. We want the front knee stacked over the ankle. And we'll just hold it here, checking our alignment. And then bringing the arms behind us, interlacing the hands if you can, otherwise you can take opposite wrists, maybe opposite forearms, opposite elbows, wherever you can reach along there, maybe even just the fingers. And start to just pull back with the hands so you start to feel an opening across the chest. You may even get a slight back bend here, but just notice if you feel any tension or too much tension, any discomfort, and just come out of it slightly. Gaze can be up if it feels okay for the neck. And then releasing the arms. We'll drop the back heel down 45 degrees. Start to move the hips so they're facing the side of the mat. Keeping that front knee over the ankle. Notice if it's coming in and just see if you can push it out so it's stacked over the ankle. You may need to play around with the position of the feet to get there. And then we'll bring the arms up to the shoulder height, palms facing down. Gaze out over the front for warrior 2. Taking 2 deep breaths here. Now we'll take eagle arms. I'll give you 3 options for this. The first option is to bring the left arm to the right shoulder, right arm to the left, and just start to push up with the elbows. The second option is to cross the left arm in front of you and then cross the right arm, so placing that elbow just on top of the left elbow. Bring the backs of the palms together. And then the third option is to see if you can just cross the hands, so you're bringing the palms together. Whichever option you're in, just see if you can start to lift up with the elbows. This is a really great stretch for across the shoulders. Just holding it here for 3 rounds of breath. If you do feel any pain, just gently come out of the pose. And after the next exhale, whichever option you've come, just slowly come out of it, maybe rolling the shoulders down and back. Now we'll turn our hips back, coming onto the ball of the foot, so we're facing the front of the mat. And we'll come into a balancing pose from here. So start to bring the weight forward into that front leg as you lift that back leg up, and see if you can move it without touching the ground if you can, just to challenge yourself a bit. And bring the leg out in front of you. Just so you can see. You can bring the hands to the waist to help with the balance if you like. And from here we'll move into tree pose. Start to open the hip towards the left and either place the foot, so the heel of the foot is against the ankle, or against the calf, or against the inside of the thigh. Wherever you put the foot, just make sure you put no pressure on the knee. We don't want to upset the knee joints at all. So just taking whichever option is best for you. Finding a place with no movement to just rest the gaze. Can keep the hands on the hips. Maybe bringing the hands to prayer in front of the chest. Maybe reaching the arms up and overhead. Maybe even out to the side. We'll just hold it here for 3 more rounds of breath. If you do fall out of the pose, just slowly come back into the pose. This is great for focus and concentration, as well as building strength in the ankle and in the calf muscles. On the next exhale, wherever you are, just slowly coming out of the pose. Maybe just walk the feet out a little bit, shake them out as much as you need. And if you're not there already, just make your way back to the front of the mat. We'll take that little sequence on the opposite side now. So we'll be sending the right leg back, coming onto the ball of the right foot, bending the front knee, hips towards the front edge of the mat. And then bring the hands behind you again, so if you can interlace the fingers, or take in whichever option is best for you. So maybe just gripping the forearms. Start to just open up through the chest, maybe sending the gaze up. 2 more rounds of breath here. And then after the next exhale, dropping the back heel down so your foot is 45 degrees. Start to move the hips over towards the right side of the mat, checking your knee is still stacked over the ankle, and then bringing the arms out, palms facing down. I'm going to try and have your body so it's in a nice straight line. So notice if you are bringing a weight forward at all, and just see if you can shift it back. And again, we'll be taking eagle arms on this side. So the first option, just bringing the right hand to the left shoulder, left hand to the right shoulder. Start to lift up with the elbows. Second option is to bring the right arm in front of you, just having a bit of a bend in the arm, and then placing the left arm up on top. Bring the back of the hands together, lifting up with the elbows, or maybe bringing the palms together. And again, just lifting up if that feels okay. If not, this might be enough for you. This is quite a strong shoulder stretch, so just take whichever option is good for you. And we'll just hold it here for another 2 rounds of breath. And after the next exhale, slowly unwinding the arms, maybe just rolling the shoulders out. And then come onto the ball of the back foot, bring the hips so they're facing forward again. We'll take that balancing pose, maybe bring the hands to the hips, shift the weight forward into that front leg, and see if you can bring the back leg forward and in front. Try not to touch the ground if you can, but if you do, that's also perfectly fine. So we just want to try and challenge ourselves a little bit in these poses. And then from here, we'll take our tree pose again. So just opening up the hip towards the right, bringing either the heel towards the ankle, the calf, or the thigh. And again, taking whichever option you like with the hands. Resting your gaze on something just in front of you that's not moving. If you would like to challenge yourself a bit more, you could always try and close the eyes. And just notice how that feels. Just 3 more rounds of breath here. And after the next exhale, just slowly coming out of whichever position you're in, and then just shaking the legs out a little bit. We'll be making our way down onto our bellies now, so however you want to get there, you can take as long as you like as well. So when you're there, just bring in the hands so they're in line with the shoulders. Bring your chin down towards the floor and start to push into the tops of the feet so you can feel the muscles in the legs engage. We'll take 3 baby cobras here. This helps to strengthen the lower back, which is part of the core. So we'll do a little bit for the lower back now. So on the next inhale, pushing the toes into the floor, feel the legs engage, and slowly just lifting the chest up. Pull those shoulder blades towards each other so they're not coming up towards the ears. Holding it here, maybe seeing if you can lift the hands off the floor. One more breath. And on the exhale, just slowly make your way back down. Maybe just resting the head on one side. You bring the hands down by the side, maybe roll the hips out a little bit. Or you can breathe into the belly. That creates a little bit of release in the lower back. So we'll take that 2 more times. So just bring the hands again next to the shoulders. Push into the floor. Inhale, rise up. Holding it here. Keep breathing. Maybe lifting the hands off, pulling the shoulder blades together. And after the next inhale, just slowly rolling back down, switching the side of the head that you're resting on, bring the arms down by the side, maybe roll out the hips, or just concentrate on breathing into the lower back, into the belly. And then bringing the chin back towards the mat, hands down by the side, push into the toes and inhale to rise back up. Again, see if you can lift the hands, pull those shoulder blades together. Keep breathing here. on the exhale, just slowly roll back down. Again, maybe roll out the hips. Maybe breathe into the lower back, the belly. Right. Now we'll be moving into a pose known as supported fish. So this is another chest opening pose. And for this pose, you can either use your blocks or you can use your pillows. So I'll show you how to use the blocks first. Actually, no, I'll show you how to use the pillows first. So just grabbing your pillows, placing them lengthways down the mat. Bring your bum so it's all the way towards the back of the pillows. And then just slowly start to roll down. Bring the arms down by the side. Just resting here. This is a very gentle opening for the chest. And also a slight back bend, so releasing the back a bit. Or releasing the hips. This is the first option if you would like to use your pillows. Otherwise, if you've got some blocks that you would like to use or anything similar to blocks, you place one for the head and then one lengthways for the back. And we'll just slowly roll down. You probably will need to adjust them once you get down there. I find this one is a bit more intense. And then just bring the arms down by the side. You can have the block either on the setting I've got it, which is the second setting, or you can have it on the lowest setting as well. So this is really great for releasing any stiffness in the upper back. Of course, if you do feel any pain, maybe just try a different prop or a different pose, or you can always roll up a towel and just place it under the shoulder blades lengthways across the mat, and that will also give you a very gentle opening. So there's lots of different options for this pose. And we'll just hold this here for about 3 more deep breaths. And whichever option you've taken, you just slowly roll onto one side, removing the props, placing them over to the side, and then just bringing yourself back down onto the mat. And just stay here for a moment and just see how the back feels now that it's on the mat. And then bring the soles of the feet to the floor. We'll just window wipe the legs side to side a little bit. And then our resting pose for today, I'm going to give you 2 options. So you can either bring the soles of the feet together and let the legs just open into a reclined butterfly pose. This is a very nice opening for the hips. If you do have blocks or pillows, you also have the option of just popping these under each leg just to support the legs a little bit. That can feel nice for some people, especially if you've got quite tight hips. Like you can see, I've got quite a bit of space off the floor. And the arms can just stay by the side, or you can leave the arms on the belly and just bring your attention to your breath. This is your first option for your resting pose today. The second option is just to bring your legs out straight, feet just over hip distance apart, arms down by the sides. This is our corpse pose, Shavasana. Again, you can leave the hands on the belly and just start to bring your attention to your breath. And if both those options aren't good for you, if you've got any tension in the lower back, the option is to just bring the soles of the feet to the floor and just let the knees drop in towards each other. This can feel a little bit nicer in the lower back. So just take whichever option is best for you and start to bring your attention to your breath. Feeling the belly expand on the inhale and soften on the exhale. So you can stay in this pose for as long as you like. Otherwise, if you were ready to come out of the pose, you can just start by making some small movements with the hands and the feet. Maybe just rocking the legs side to side, maybe the head side to side. When you're ready, just start to make your way up to a seated position or a standing position if you prefer. And that brings us to the end of this class today. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and I hope to see you back for next week's class, which is yoga with no shoulders. So it will be a completely different class to today, where we'll be focusing a bit more on the lower body. Have a great day and lovely week.